Georgia's rural communities, home to a diverse, hard-working population numbering in the millions and growing.
Hello, I'm Rosalind Carter. On behalf of the Georgia Legal Services Program, I thank you for your time today. In this presentation, you will learn about Georgians who have critical legal problems and no money to hire a lawyer. You will hear their stories told in their own words. These families represent the thousands of Georgians with low incomes who are provided critical legal aid by the Georgia Legal Services Program each year. There are many other stories that could be told. Stories involving domestic violence, exploitation of the elderly, and tangles with government, to name a few. We want you to hear these stories firsthand to understand the significant role of the Georgia Legal Services Program in bringing justice and fairness to our communities.
The people in this video are real people with real legal problems. They represent the thousands of people with low incomes who are helped each year by the Georgia Legal Services Program. Throughout Georgia, people with low incomes find themselves in dire circumstances like these every day. The Georgia Legal Service Program brings justice home to those facing the loss of their homes. Following the death of her husband, Patricia Bryant, and her grandson, David, who is physically disabled, faced losing their home to Mrs. Bryant's stepdaughters. Patricia Bryant's world was turned upside down after the death of her husband, the Reverend June T. Bryant. When he died, he left behind a wife and 5 daughters. He had never prepared a will, leaving the estate in doubt. In addition to a monthly house payment of $469, Patricia has full custody of her grandson, David, who has physical disabilities resulting from brain tumors he suffered at the ages of 3 and 5. While applying for food stamps at the local Department of Family and Children's Services office, Patricia talked to a receptionist about her problems. The receptionist referred her to the Georgia Legal Services Program for legal assistance. Due to the claims made by Patricia's stepchildren, the case had to go to probate court. Later that week, Patricia got a phone call that changed her and her grandson's future.
We went to court on Wednesday, and on Friday, Mr. Foster called me and told me the judge had ruled in my favor, which I said, thank the Lord for it. But without Georgia Legal Services and without the help of the good Lord, I would not have been able to keep my home.
The Georgia Legal Services Program brings justice to impoverished, rural communities where opportunities for a better way of life, a life out of poverty, are scarce. Community leader Dr. Harold Greer had a vision. He knew there was plenty of available land in Henry County and plenty of residents in need of affordable housing. Dr. Harold Greer organized a group of likewise concerned local residents, and Henry County Residential Housing was born. Led by President Edward Head, the organization is dedicated to creating more low-income housing in Henry County, thus making the American dream possible to many who otherwise could not afford it.
Georgia Legal Services helped us in many ways with a lot of legal issues, and also in connecting us with resource persons that could help us and help writing grants and identifying monies that could be donated to an organization like ours. So they have been a real asset. Without them, I don't think this program would have been successful.
The resulting grant approval led to the construction of 5 homes in rural Henry County for families who otherwise would not be able to afford a home. The Georgia Legal Services Program brings justice to those facing life-threatening medical challenges. Madeline Mosley was devastated when she was suddenly informed that Medicaid would no longer provide life-saving medication to her 5-year-old son, Troy, who is infected with the AIDS virus. Because of the seriousness of Troy's illness, his monthly medical bills and prescriptions cost over $1,000 to maintain his health. Madeline's pharmacist phoned to tell her that Medicaid would no longer cover Troy's medication. Attorney Joyce Sims contacted the Department of Community Health and explained to them the provisions of Medicaid law that required them to provide coverage for Troy. In a matter of days, the problem was solved. Medicaid was reinstated, and Ms. Mosley was reimbursed for all out-of-pocket costs.